What sort of challenges does going against a team with this sort of speed present for you?
It's a tremendous challenge, man. These guys have unequaled speed collectively. When you look at the running back position, the wide receiver position, even the tight end position, they are just they're extremely fast. So from that stand, they've got scheme and coaching that is pushing it downfield, that is threatening you deep, and is trying to get behind you. So tremendous challenge for our back end. And really, it's a full defensive challenge, because as much as we can affect the quarterback, we'll affect their ability to throw it down the field.
It's different personnel, obviously, but they run similar stuff as what you're seeing every day here. Does that help?
It does a little bit, yeah, for sure. There's some similar concepts. There's some stuff that both Mikes do that is similar. At the same time, though, I thought Coach McDaniel over in Miami did a good job of adopting some of the stuff that Tua liked from the previous regime. So it wasn't just a wholesale change, and so there's some stuff that's consistent with the Shanahan system with Mike LaFleur, with Mike McDaniel. But then there's also some stuff that they brought from the previous regime that I think is it's good, and it complements who Tua is, and I think it complements who Teddy is too. So both guys can utilize some of that stuff.
Do you anticipate the offense changing at all with Teddy in there?
Not really. I think they're very similar players. I think that Teddy, they're very similar. I don't want to say anything that gets myself in trouble. He's an experienced player that sees the field very well. He's still a good athlete, even though he's been playing for quite a bit. So he can challenge you with his legs and his arm and his mind. So it's I don't see the offense changing wholesale. They only had 10 days for one, and for two, I don't think the skill set is that much different between the two.
With all the speed they have with Tyreek and Waddle, I'm guessing they probably don't see a lot of man-to-man with those. Is it mostly they're getting a healthy diet of cover twos, or how are teams?
They do. They get a mix of both. I think teams are very cognizant when they go man, though, to give help, skate a safety, punch a linebacker, give some sort of help to those guys. So, they do get more zone, not just because of the speed, not just because of the men's that they have, but they are constantly on the move. It's rare you get to play without two motions. So they talk you out of it with speed, they talk you out of it with formation, stacks, bunches, and then the multiple motions.
What is your philosophy? I know you don't do it, but with regard to traveling with a guy like Sauce or something like that, obviously you don't do that. But when you face a situation where maybe you think he's a good matchup, if he is with Tyreek, do you think about going away from that, or do you just stick with sides?
Yeah, we stick with sides. And if you watch the tape close enough, you'll see some times where we'll match to a side. Fortunately, we have two excellent corners that are good matchups, in my opinion, against just about anybody. So having each one on both sides, it's a luxury for us, from that standpoint.
Gesicki is a guy that's had some big games against the Jets in recent years. What kind of challenges he present?
He's long. He's a dynamic athlete for being 6'6", 6'5" plus, and he's got great hands, and he's got a good feel too. Like, obviously he's a mismatch with a lot of safeties. From just a length, size perspective, he's an athletic mismatch with some of the linebackers. At the same time, he's got a really good feel. Like when it's man, he knows how to separate. When it's zone, he knows how to sit in the soft zones. They're using him, it feels like, a little bit less than the previous regime did for whatever the reason. But I'll say this, when he does play and when he is in, he feels like he's a primary target. If he's not the first in the progression, he's the second. So he's definitely a guy we got to account for.
Jeff, with the thing that happened last week with the Quinnen comment, did you have to talk to him at all, just to kind of clear the air and make sure you're on the same page?
Yeah, I absolutely talked to him. Quinnen's a guy that I have tremendous respect for, not only as a football player, but as a man. And for him to have felt any angst or felt any way about that would have really bothered me, because I have tremendous respect for him. And it was never my intent to insult him or say anything bad about him. I love the guy in every way. And I have no I have no questions regarding anything about him, conditioning or otherwise. He's an absolute game wrecker, kick-ass player in every way, and just love having him here with us. And I hope that we have him here for a long time.
You have 6 interceptions in only 4 games after 7 all of last year. In talking to Sheldon Rankins, he was talking about how you guys trying to make a concerted effort turning them over more. Obviously, everybody wants turnovers.
Right.
How have you guys tried to make that concerted effort?
Start every meeting with it, so we shine a light on it in that way. I'd like to think when you do that, that comes to life a little bit, and, so that's been a point of emphasis since OTAs, mini camps, off-season, training camp, the whole thing, and hopefully it just keeps coming to life. It's not a secondary thing, it's not a front thing, it's a collective defensive thing. We apply pressure, we force bad decisions. As you always say, pressure busts pipes, and it's funny because it's cliche to say they come in bunches, but they kind of do. And as you start gaining more confidence and you get a feel for it, I think you just continue to get them. So it'll be exciting to see if we can keep this trend going.
When you say you start every meeting with it, shine a light on, are you talking about, I think in a week like this, where you obviously highlight the 3 that you had last week, or what do you mean by that?
Just practice. So anytime we tip a ball, anytime we punch a ball out, anytime we intercept a ball, anytime whatever we do anything that is concerning the ball, like that is the first point of emphasis of every single defensive unit meeting. So it's just shining a light on it and putting it in the forefront of their brain and their mind, and with the thought process that comes to life in games.
How is Jermaine Johnson playing through 4 games?
He's getting better. Like he's young, obviously. He's got a long way to go, but I've been extremely happy with what he's done. I think we all knew that he had length, he had speed, he had pass rush ability. That was not a surprise to me. The level of physicality that he's brought to the run game has been, not to say I didn't see it, but I don't remember it being so blatant. Like he puts hands on people and people move, so extremely happy with the progress he's making. Saying that, he's got a long way to go. I don't think he's even scratched the surface of what he can become.
Jeff, going back to Quentin for a second, did you sense that he was upset by that, or you just wanted to?
I just want to make sure that there was no gray. I got a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of respect for all the guys in that defensive unit, and for any of them to feel like I felt any such way other than complete love, regard, and respect would bother me, And it did bother me from that standpoint, the thought that he might have taken something the wrong way. So I just made sure that there was no gray concerning that, and he knew exactly where I stood. And to a man, I think he knows where my heart is.
Regarding him as a player and the start he's gotten off, what do you? I mean, everybody kept saying, he's going to get better. Now it seems like we're seeing it. What do you attribute that to?
A lot of things. Experience, obviously. He's had some time on task, not only in this league but with this system now. He's been a full year. Last year wasn't really fair as an assessment of him because he didn't. If you guys remember, he didn't practice at all. So brand new system, brand new front, brand new technique, alignments, assignments, the whole thing, and didn't get a rep of OTAs, mini camps, training camp, anything. So for him to play as well as he did last year, minus an off season. It's a testament to the man that he is, So now, another year in the system, I think he's really starting to grasp. There's like a one-on-one version of just getting aligned and penetrating, getting vertical, jumping out your shoes. And there's another level of this, of awareness, because it's very similar to our coverage in the fact that we don't do a lot up front. So the way people attack us, run game, pass pro, becomes pretty predictable at times too. So he's starting to learn that as well and take his game to another level. So just extremely fortunate that he's with us. And it's fun watching him every Sunday get better.
Jeff, the safeties had some kind of noticeable mistakes in the first few games that resulted in big plays. Last week in Pittsburgh, I think he would have 4 interceptions if it wasn't for the penalty at the end of the first half. How good was it to see their level of play pick up, and what could that mean for your defense?
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to find 2 better players as far as human beings in this league of Jordan Whitehead and LaMarcus Joyner, guys that love this game, love this team, have tremendous value in, being an accountable, reliable teammate. That's a big deal to both of those men. So I was so excited and happy, obviously for our defense and our team, but probably more importantly just for those 2 individuals, and all the time they put in and how important it is to them. So them getting going like this is it's exciting for the entire unit, because we'll go a little bit as they go in that way, because there's so much that's predicated upon not only their play but their communication and their ability to run our defense from the back end. having time on task from a back end standpoint, I think, is one of those things that is highly underrated in this league. It is, you know, you look around the leagues and the great defenses, it's the ones that have had continuity, the same system, the same players, especially from the safety position. You look at the San Franciscos, you look at the Buffaloes, those guys have had a ton of time on task doing the same stuff over and over and over again, where it becomes unconscious competence, you know, and our guys are working to that point.
With Sheldon Rankins, there was a play where he dropped back in coverage and I think helped force an interception there. How helpful is his versatility for you as a play caller, and what does it bring to the table?
Yeah, he is a guy that he's underrated. You know, people don't talk about him probably as much as they should. He is one of those like traditional three techniques from the standpoint he's explosive, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got movement. Obviously, he can rush the passer. He plays the run very well too, which I don't think people give him enough credit for. I think sometimes they look at him as this dynamic athlete. They look at him as pass rusher, but he's an extremely good run defender. And then at the same time, here's a guy that's 300 pounds that you can drop into coverage a little bit. When you know the ball's getting spit fast, you know you're not going to be able to get home and put another body in the window. So he does a lot of things for us.